Hello, everyone, and welcome to Log Kya Kahenge. We're super excited to introduce you guys to Aimen Malhi today, all the way from Pakistan. Woo!
Hey guys.
Hello, everyone. I am double excited to be on this podcast and looking forward to it. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and Aimen, thank you
For joining us.
Seriously.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Thank
You're
you
our
for having
first.
me.
You're our first guest from Pakistan, so that makes you super super special.
Yes.
This is something special
Yes. And
to be here.
yeah, and I think we should talk a little bit about how we found you, because that's gonna
Yeah, sure.
lead right into what we reached out to you for and what
Yeah.
you're doing right now. So like we want to definitely talk about that. So Manala and I were on our Facebook feeds, something that we hardly do, but we were so happy we did that day.
Yeah.
But of course, for the podcast and stuff like that, we know that a lot of people and a lot of our, especially family and friends, are on Facebook. So that's exactly why we
Yeah, you use it.
use it. And
Okay.
we saw a super real story about a person who we knew was in our connection somehow because of our school and like like people we used to know or are in our Pakistani circles. And we saw a super real post about somebody going through anxiety and somebody going through a real ups and what you described as an up and down
Right.
in your emotions. And then a picture was attached, and that was of you, Aimen. And what was really interesting to us was that we just never saw a South Asian face attached to such a photo before,
and from Pakistan, and so detailed and so like real. It explained in a really real way. Like there was no BS behind it. It was just, hey, like this is what I'm going through.
Right.
And it was just so nice to read it. And I read it and she read it, and we just, actually we read it separately, and we didn't know that the other person was reading it. And then so I came to her and I was like, hey, like, did you look at this? And then she was like, oh my God, I just saw that. So that was crazy. And then we were like, okay, we have to reach out to this girl because this is awesome. Like and there wasn't one post, right? There was like many like we scrolled all the way down. Like, full disclosure, we stalked you and we read everything. We read everything, and it was like, so as real as the things were that you had written, it was really refreshing to read that like somebody was even talking about these things.
Thank you, Kinza and Manal, for first of all acknowledging it, because to be honest, let me talk about Pakistan. Here, people don't take it seriously, They don't acknowledge someone's mental health or anything, related to your mental health. It can be so serious and people will just take it as a joke. So first of all, thanks to you guys for, acknowledging it and, reaching out. And the most important thing is you understood that it was something that should be taken serious and should be read and should be preached, I think.
Thank you. Honestly, like, just we have this tendency, I feel like something that we have recently overcome, or we have actually said that, no, you know what, stop, this is like a breaking down. You're absolutely right. Our country or our culture has the tendency to ignore it, right? So we could have easily, or people easily say we couldn't have, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, we couldn't have. But like, people have the tendency to say, oh, this person is going through this, let me just see how it works for them, kind of like ignore the problem, right? And so it's not there.
So true.
So but I mean, I want to ask Aimen, so like, what tell us a little bit before we go into everything. And of course, we're going to be introducing Aimen as one of our logs soon, so that's exciting.
Yay.
Thank you.
But tell us a little bit about you. What do you do right now? And like, then we're gonna go into ask you about like, what made you post that first post?
I am doing masters in mass communication, and I did my DCA from Gotham because I wanted to be a chef, and I did it. And being in Pakistan, taking chef as a profession, were literally criticized, and I did posted it about it. I posted about it like last year as well. That I really don't care, because sometimes you just need to write it down and just show the world who you are. So basically, I'm doing my master's in mass communication right now, and to be honest, why I'm doing this, because I want a platform where I can tell people, that it's fine to not to be okay, and to accept it, and uh, to study media, because basically I wanted that people should know what actually mental illness is, mental health is, and why we should take it seriously, because it wasn't just me. I saw people around me suffering, and all they would say here, Kala Jadoo, Nazar, they would go to that angle, but they won't come to this point. Like, there is something wrong. There is something where we can suffer from depression. And the one thing that hurts the most, living in Pakistan, living in an Islamic country, when people come out and tell you that you're not close to your God, and that's why, because you are suffering. So, I wanted that this needs to stop. So, I after I completed my chef thing, I came into this, and I openly started posting about it, and talking about it, and I was literally backlashed by my family members, immediate family, and I had to struggle with my parents, and because my mother is also a working woman, my father is a working man. So the my mother's colleagues were on my Facebook, and they would like, my mother would come and tell me that they would sit in the mess time and talk about it, like her daughter posted this, and then I told her that it's fine, let it be. So basically, the post you read, I wrote there as well that I'm totally fine. I'm happy with my life. I'm doing what I want, and I still can be depressed, or I can have anxiety, because I recently had my nikah, and they started talking about it, like maybe she wasn't happy there, or there was something wrong with her. Things you can't even imagine. So my sister told me one thing, that my mother was upset because of all this. But then again, log kya kahenge, log ye keh rahe hain, and you should think about it. So I told her that I won't stop, because I'm not on this path to stop. I don't want people to be, when I post about it, I get a lot of messages from people telling me that what they are going through, and that how it helps them, to speak out and to reach out people for help. So yeah, this is what's going on, and this is how it was going on.
Aimen, I mean,
Wow.
yeah, we're here and we're supposed to talk, but we're speechless. I mean,
Well, first of all, for just translation purposes, Kala Jadoo means black magic, and Nazar means like the evil eye. So people over there are basically blaming these things for you having depression and anxiety.
which is ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's very common in Pakistan to just name these things, and we don't want to look at the other side. Unfortunately, that there might be something wrong with us, because we have cough, we have fever, we get ill physically, but they don't want to accept that we can get mentally sick as well. So recently, there's a time when a student has to think to which university to join. My brother was going through that phase, and he was mentally upset what was going to happen about his career and everything. So we all were sitting, and he told me that he was feeling very numb, and that he was driving a car last week, and he just wanted to cry a lot. And I told him that you need to go to a doctor. And he said, why doctor? I said, go to a psychologist. And he was like, why would I? And he was like, somehow he wasn't sure that he should, or he why should he? So I told him that it's totally fine and you should go, because maybe you're not okay sharing things with me or mama or baba. So go out. It's totally fine. So, and but to be honest, I have been through this. My family telling my mother that it's evil eye and it's black magic. There's something wrong with your daughter. You should go and take her out to this place or that place, and he will help out. And I was sick of it. And I told my mother that I don't really care what log kya kahenge. I know what's wrong with me. I know what I am going through. So they don't know exactly what I'm going through. They'll just come and judge and talk about it, gossip about it, and tell you that, your daughter is sick or there's something wrong with her. But they won't have the guts to tell that, yeah, maybe she's not okay mentally, because we don't accept it.
Wow. Wow. It's about them saying this is my comfort zone. This is what I believe in. So yeah, this must be the box that
Yeah.
you fit in or you don't fit in.
And this is what
Yeah.
they know, actually. This is the only thing they know, because I don't think anybody even cares to make themselves aware or educate themselves on certain thing called mental health. I mean, like you said, if it's not visible, right, then it doesn't really exist.
Yeah, unfortunately, because we don't take things seriously at all when it's not visible,
Right.
and it's kind of upsetting that you don't know what other person is going through.
Right.
And I had because I know it's been like 2013 when I made major decisions. With I was like I was isolated. I was left alone, but I knew what I was going to do. And
Right.
I was totally fine with it. My cousins and my family members not talking to me, but talking shit about me, I was okay, because I knew that what I wanted now.
Right.
And at that age, I was like 14 years old, and I knew I
Wow.
wasn't mentally okay. I knew that. I knew that there was something wrong with me. I knew I was depressed, and there, I just knew it, that I'm not okay mentally.
14.
To have that awareness
Yeah,
at that
I was 14.
age.
I mean, I'm sitting here and I have like goosebumps because I'm like, you're one brave person. I don't have any other
Thank you,
words.
Kinsa.
Really, no,
Yeah.
it's so brave. And to like, you understand your family to be the people that are gonna support you and love you no matter what, and like believe you if
Yeah.
you say, my skin is orange today or blue today, and
Yeah.
you want them to like say yes, it is blue,
Support you.
and
Yeah.
support you.
Yeah, my sister, she's 2 years younger than me. She had been my best friend since childhood, like best friend. And there was just one person I could. Obviously, I trusted my mother. We have been like friends. We have never been mother-daughter relationship. We have been friends. But I trusted her more than anyone in this world. So, and she was one of my biggest supporter. Anything I did, it was one major decision, Kinza, leaving the school on my own and telling my parents I won't study till I'm not okay. I don't care what people think or say. And I didn't study for 3 years. I told them that I wasn't fine. I won't be able to study. I was in my O levels. I was in ninth, and I have to be promoted to 10, and I failed that exam because I was in trauma, that what I was going through, I wasn't able to focus on anything, or I wasn't able to understand what teachers are saying or what are they teaching me. So there came a day I talked to my sister and I told her that I don't know what's going on. I don't know what teachers teach me. I am unable to understand them, and I'm just deciding to leave my studies. And there was a point she got upset and she said, no, don't do this. Studies are very important. How would you survive in this society? And unfortunately, being a daughter of an educated woman, there is more pressure on you that you have to be more educated than her. And my mother is an HOD professor, and there was a pressure on me. How what will people say to mama? And she told me that people will literally mock her. And I told her, Fatma, I can't do this. I know I can't do this right now. So I told my father, I went to him, and I have a very, very, very beautiful relationship with him. He is an MSc psychology, but he wasn't practicing it. He was, working in a company. And so I told him that even though you're not practicing it, maybe you will understand it because you have studied it. And he told me that, yeah, okay, tell me what's wrong. So I didn't tell him what was wrong, but I told him that I'm not going to study anymore. So he was just silent. He said, maybe we should go out and talk about it. I said, okay. I said, don't, because my mother is, she's my best friend, but she gets aggressive. And, mothers are emotional, and like they will think that what will happen, who is going to marry you, you're not studying, things like that. So I knew that it will come. So I just went to my father and told him that there are some problems I'm going through, which I'm not going to share with you, but I'm telling you that there are some problems, so I don't want to study anymore. So he said, is there something wrong in school? And there was a lot of things wrong in school, which basically I said that we should talk about it. So I told him, no, I don't know what's wrong, but I don't want to study. And I started crying. We were in a restaurant. So he just, told me to be quiet, and he said, okay, don't. So I said, give me your words. You are going to support me in front of mama and tell him that he doesn't want to study. He said, okay. And we came back, and I didn't go to school the other day. And then I took a break for, for 3 years. I didn't go to school.
And this is all high school, correct? This is all.
It was, LGS. Yeah, I was in class 9. It was 2011 when I decided I don't want to go to school at all.
Dude, I'm like, my eyes are so open.
Wow, I've never heard this before. I mean, like, couple things, right? Number one, we talked about this in our last episode too, how parental support is so important. And
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
It's crazy. I mean, but being brown and then like educating your parents, not even educating, like even talking to them about certain things can be a little nerve-wracking, but it's so nice when they actually like listen to you and try to like reason with you a little bit, right?
True.
And I'm so happy that your dad did that for you.
Yeah, it was one of the major things that I was afraid of my mother, to be honest, that she might not be able to understand me to that extent, because, there was a mental pressure on her as well. What will people say to her?
Right.
Your biggest daughter, your eldest daughter is doing what? Nothing. Okay. So there was something, I understand. And now when I was angry with her, to be honest, I told her, I don't want to talk to you because you are not understanding me. So now when things are totally fine, and then she tells me that maybe I should have helped you at that time. And I say, it's okay, Baba did, so it's fine. I understand there was a pressure on you, because my father had studied it maybe, and because he's one of those person, he says I can never ever force anything on my children.
Wow.
On anything. Like, when I wanted to be a chef, my mother said, go for masters, and I said I wanted to be a chef. So my father just came with me to Kotham and got me admission there, and came to my home and told my mama that she's going to be a chef now. So he was one of my biggest supporter.
That's awesome. And I mean, like, as two people who can relate with that, it's really, really nice to have a supporting, like, dad. I mean, mom too, but, like, I feel like it's different when it's, like, dad. Like, same with us.
Yeah. As I said, because mothers take mental pressure as well.
Yes.
Fathers are a little bit strong. They don't really bother what people are going to say. Or,
Right.
maybe they don't have time to listen what other people are saying. They're so busy, and mothers have time to call their sisters and brothers and, listen what they have to say. So, yeah, it is one of the biggest, one of the biggest and beautiful feeling to have your father as your supporter.
Right. I mean, I cannot even begin to tell you like how you've just talked about so many things that I know we can talk about for hours on each of these things. So, and I see me now taking down notes
Yeah.
exactly for that reason.
But we just wanna start out by saying like how brave it is of you to actually stand up to your not stand up, go to your parents and have that conversation. I mean, like, it's telling your parents that hey, I don't want to study anymore is huge. It's huge.
And in high school.
And in Pakistan.
And being from the culture that you are. I mean, there are so many
like factors, and you broke them all, and you did it.
Yeah, you see, Manal, I had no other option because I knew what I was, and at that time, my all cousins were, graduating or going to college or going to university. They could see their future, and I could literally see nothing, just darkness. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I just knew one thing, that I don't want to go to school anymore.
Wow.
At that time, the only thing in my mind was, I don't want to see this building anymore in my life.
Wow.
Because it wasn't just one day. I have been struggling through it for like 10 years, and I was unable to make any single person as my friend. So it was like torturing me to be there. And I could understand that there's something wrong with, I blamed myself, because I was a kid. I wasn't able to understand things. But even at that point, I knew I needed a break. And I didn't know how long it will take, or, anything like that. So, yeah, and today when I see, my age fellows graduating and I'm still studying, I really don't care. I'm happy because I knew what I was going through.
And that's fine.
And that's amazing.
Yeah, in Pakistan, there's taking a gap year or years. You literally have to hear shit.
Yes.
They tell you things that you can't even imagine.
Right.
That they talk about your character first of all. Okay, the bloody thing that comes to their mind is there must be a problem with the boy. Okay, I was like literally shocked, but my sister told me that this is going to happen, the step you have taken. And then she failed. She's so dumb. She doesn't know anything. Basically, my mother was the one who, she wanted us to be in LGS, and my parents, my father's side wasn't, really happy about that. But she was a working woman and she had a stand. She said, I'm going to, make them study in LGS. And she literally had to hear this for years. क्या फायदा हुआ है जिसमें पढ़ाने का? क्या फायदा हुआ है जिसमें पढ़ाने का? So there was a mental pressure on her. But now, today, if someone talks to me, I tell them क्या फायदा हुआ.
Wow. Oh my God. Okay, I want to take a moment here and translate that.
Because that was just amazing.
Yeah, sure.
That was like, yeah, basically what people told your mom was like, what was the, so for context, LGS or Lahore Grammar School is is considered one of the elite schools in Pakistan, and especially in Lahore, the city that we are all from. But so her mom was being told, you see, what's the what advantage or what benefit was it for you to fight for your daughter to go to this elite school and pay all this private school money? And and so when you were doing that gap years thing, or you were taking that break for yourself, you were taking that stand for yourself, and what you are saying now to people is that what is the benefit of you putting your mental health on the back burner and suffering the way that you are? Oh my God, Aimen, I just want to take a moment here and just say, we haven't even gotten to, guys, what we had said we were going to talk about
in the actual episode. And this is, I mean, like, okay, like even with schools, right? Like a place like LGS, like, not gonna lie, we've heard that too, right? Like our parents have heard that too, that like, oh, like what's the, like, why would you send your kids to like LGS and all that, like
especially daughters.
Exactly, like with that private school and with that elite schooling comes like so much judgment. So much judgment.
Yeah, true. I was like literally criticized on every step because, in class 5, because I started taking scarf myself. My mother wasn't that she wasn't happy with that, because basically her family is from UK. So she wasn't into much, that you should cover your head or anything. Like, I started covering my head on my own, and people would say to my mom that, and then again, क्या फायदा हुआ अगर यही करना था? If what's advantage if you want to do this? And she asked me one day that maybe you shouldn't. You're a kid. I was like 10 years old. You're a kid. You shouldn't, putting up with scarf and all that. And told her I was comfortable and I don't care. And I was the only one in my class doing that. And I still remember in class 5 when we had to. With our class photograph was taken, my teacher told me that take off the scarf, and I told her I won't. I'm okay if you don't take me in the class photograph. I don't want to take my scarf off. And then she said, okay, that's fine. And she said, you can come, because I was the only one wearing that. So, I think I have been a rebel since I was a kid.
And for good reasons, not for bad reasons.
Yeah, because I think because it was giving comfort to me. I was, because, let me put it this way. If I think, and if I hear my class fellows in class 4 or 5 telling me that, you have a big body, and I'm not comfortable with it, so I started covering it. Then, okay, I don't want to listen to your comments. So I just did that, and, I was okay. But okay, I'm comfortable in this at least.
I mean, whoa. Again, you're talking about, you say one line and I'm like, I can go for an hour on that with you. And just for a little bit of context, like, so this is what, and I think that, Aimen, we should definitely talk about this in a separate episode as well, that religion and culture are so intermeshed that sometimes one holds back the other. So for us, a scarf or a hijab or any sort of head covering, right? Like, if you look at it from the perspective of what it is supposed to be, is exactly that. Like, it's something that Muslim girls wear because they feel like it should come from within. It should come like spiritually from within.
As I told, my mother wasn't covering her head.
Right.
My sister weren't covering their heads, and even if me myself, I do go out sometimes and I don't feel like covering my head. I don't.
Right.
I don't say that I'm very proud of it, but it's in my nature. I don't feel like covering my head sometimes.
Yeah.
That I don't. Even my my father never told us. He would, as a father, he would guide us that this is what Islam says and this is what you should do. But as he said, I can't impose anything on you. And then there was a time my mother went for Umrah, and then she wanted to cover it, and it was her own choice. So she said, I'm never going to tell you to do that. So even if today my sisters don't want to do that, or I don't want to do that, sometimes I don't feel like covering my head. I'm not feeling good, and I would just, I don't want to wear a dupatta or a scarf. So I'm okay with that. But even if I want to do that, it has nothing to do with people telling you that you are not covering your head, you're not close to God. It's a shit for me. I mean, it's so pathetic. I don't understand that. I can't, because, I'm okay with, I do put my, photos on Facebook with my head covered, because I'm like, okay, I don't want to do that. But at my home, I can open my hair, or even when I go out, I open my hair and I wear dupatta. I don't take it on my head. It's my choice. It has nothing to do with your judgments.
Yeah.
And to be honest, people talk shit, and because it's, I don't know what they get from it. From my experience, I just learned one thing, that I don't want to talk shit about anyone.
Right.
About regarding anything. I can't do that.
Right.
Even if if I have I have been friends with anyone and I'm not friend with that person anymore. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Right.
I just can't. I feel like it's so low of a person to do that.
Oh wow. I mean,
and like all people over there really know is how to talk about other people. And
unfortunately,
you have described some of the things that I didn't even know that people talked about, like, or thought about, like all these little things. It's like they get problems from like nothing, and they just keep on they just they pinpoint out, okay, I can make this a problem, I can make this into a problem. What?
True.
Like, take off your scarf, don't take off your scarf, you're not close to God. I mean, what?
It's, this is what they do, and they don't have any idea what problem it causes to the other person
mentally, right?
There's a pressure. Look, it's like this. You may say you don't care, but at the end of the day, you do think about it.
You're human.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's no way you can think about it.
You're human.
Yeah.
We're so like, open and vulnerable all the time to like what people say or might think about you, because we're human. We're not robots. Because if we were robots, we would have no emotions and then everything would be fine.
Maybe better.
So I always think about this thing that people have no idea what they cause other person.
Right.
They have no idea. And to be honest, I have this point when people bring this is a common thing in our culture. When you're losing an argument, bring Islam in to degrade a person.
Wow.
When Islam is all about upgrading a person.
Wow.
And you use religion as a tool of hatred when it's a tool of love.
Right.
They'll come and tell you that, they'll just, when they have nothing to say, they'll tell you you're not close to Allah. And that's pathetic. So low.
Right.
Oh my God. I feel like a lot. I will take a pause here and say that, like, I think that we always, because this, especially this podcast is for like, all kinds of like, races, religions, cultures, whatever have you, because Aimen, everything that you've just said means that we're looking at people's insides and how they treat other people. And that's it.
Yeah.
And and so what you've just said, I think resonates with, it doesn't matter if you're an atheist, Christian, Hindu, people bring in religion as a tool of hate. And look at what was happening. Well, look at what's happening over here. People have brought in religion into politics and made, this war on, like, what I believe in to be like white and Christian, and so like you are wrong. I mean, we keep this podcast full of like, love and completely devoid of hatred, but I think that you are hitting on such a beautiful point. It's like when you're losing an argument, you want to now tell me I'm not close to God.
And like, who are you? And like, now that I think about it, we have heard that too, right? Like, people do bring in religion and God, and
it's as I said before, Manahel, that religion, no matter what religion is a tool of love.
Right.
You can't use it as a tool of hatred.
Right.
And you are doing that. And you are such a low person if you're doing that. It doesn't matter. Like, I have Christian friends in university, and I don't think, or even like, I can never think that they are low or I am low. But we are human.
Right.
We just can't, as a Muslim, Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, just stood up for a funeral of a non-Muslim.
Right.
So, who are you? What are you doing? You are like literally hating people and using religion.
Oh my gosh.
So people would rather ignore the mental health aspect and just go jump straight to religion and be like, haha, you're not close to God, haha. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell? What?
Yeah. I was told you don't pray and this is all because you don't pray. So to be honest, I didn't pray till I was okay. I didn't
Wow.
pray.
Right. Right.
I couldn't. I didn't knew what I was doing. I will ask my mom that what if I'm standing and praying and I don't know what I'm talking to, what I'm talking, what I'm doing, what I'm saying. So what's the reason behind this? I couldn't. For 2 years I didn't pray because I
Right.
didn't knew what I'm going to say. You can't say something when you don't know the meaning behind it. So when I'm
Wow.
so lost in myself, in my pains, in my problems, how can I just go and pray and then how can I accept people coming and telling me that this is all because you are not close to the God?
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
We always say that like spirituality is like a journey that everybody has on their own, right? It's like different for everybody.
Yeah, true.
At their own pace, like whatever they want. But like I can only speak for our culture, but like in our culture that's a concept that nobody even like knows about. It's not. It's
No,
like you have to
it's
pray.
yeah, it's they don't tell you to pray because it's in religion they tell you to pray because you're going to hell if you don't. They won't tell you. They use, as I said, they use it as a tool of fear and hatred.
Mhm.
And
Right.
it kind of tortures the other person. I would like there were nights I would just sit and think that चलो आगे फ्यूचर तो है नहीं क्योंकि पढ़ना छोड़ दिया है और अब अल्लाह के भी करीब नहीं रही because people put it in my mind that you're
Wow.
not close to Allah or God. You don't know what you're doing. You have destroyed your life. You have destroyed your life hereafter. So you're going to hell. So it was, pathetic some nights. I would just sit and think, where was I going? What I'm going to do? But yeah, then thanks to Allah, I'm here today, and I can tell people I was okay. You are not okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
you're not okay.
Yeah, you're not okay. I'm just, usually we're the ones like that are like just going on an
Yeah,
episode, but Aimen, I'm like sitting here lost completely.
You have given us so much to think about. It's like it's crazy. So one question I do have is like like obviously it was a long journey for you and like yes, you're better now. So what did help? Like was it starting to talk about publicly how you were feeling?
No, Manal, as I said before, I had no friends.
Right.
No friends since childhood. No friends. In class 7, I was close to 3, 4 people, but then again, kids want to be friends with cool people, and I wasn't cool enough at that time. I was very, very fat, very fat. And like I was 115 kg, and that was very, So when I left school, it was because of bullying and mental pressure. When I left school, and it was in 2011, I took a break for 2 years, painting and writing, painting and writing, painting and writing. I have like 24 diaries right now of last 10 years of every day written on my page. And recently I was looking through them and I was proud of myself where I am today and where was I, 10 years back. So it was just painting and writing and nothing else, and eating. I would eat a lot and my family would come and say, you need to lose weight, you're doing this, you're doing that. And I was like, don't tell me anything. So one day after 2 years, but when I left school, because when you're in a toxic environment, as soon as you leave it, you get a relief.
Right.
Okay, knowing that you're not going to that place which haunts you, it gives you a relief.
Right.
And there was an immediate relief with knowing that I'm not going to that place again ever in my life. I was okay and I was a little happy and better. So I for 2 years I just ate. I would write a lot, and I would show it to my mother, and sometimes she would cry that you write a lot of. It seems you're in a lot of pain. And I would tell her just to make her stop. And I would tell her, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. And I would just paint, write, draw, sleep, and eat. I did nothing. I didn't go anywhere out. I didn't meet any one of my relatives because I knew what they were talking. I didn't want to face them because I was a kid at that time. I didn't know how to face people and society. And when people would come and say why did you leave your studies, I had no answer because I didn't want to tell them what I was going through. So my sister had an idea that she is, bullied because I used to go in a school van and I was bullied in the van as well, bullied. So my sister knew that there was something wrong. And he used to just tell me that, you're very strong. And that would give me courage. So for 2 years, I did nothing. I would just sit and tell myself that it's okay if I'm not studying. It's okay. I will get a life once I'm okay. So after 2 years, when I was 115 kgs, I started getting aggressive because I was alone in the house whole day. My siblings were in school. My mother was at university. My father was at his office, and I was alone at home. I started getting aggressive. So I started at that time reading novels, and I read a novel. It was by Nimra Ahmed. Musaf is Quran. I didn't know it meant Quran. It was a novel. It was about a girl, and it started changing something in me. I started feeling a little happy when at that time when I was becoming aggressive, and there was something change in me. I wanted to pray at that time. It was after 2 years, people telling me pray, and I wouldn't. Because I knew I just didn't want it to. So at that time, I started praying. One in a day or one in a week, and I would feel happy. Okay, I did. Okay, now Allah will love me. As people had put it in my mind that God will not love you till you pray or something like that. Now, anyways, in after 2 years, my father just came to me one day, and he was a fitness freak kind of person. He would come from office and go to jog for 1 hour, and come back, and he told me that why it's been 2 years, why don't you come out and go for a jog with me? And I said okay. That was the day it changed my life. I went out for jogging with him. I literally was running and there was sweat all over my body, and I felt a mental relaxation through that. I felt that my aggressiveness was coming out. Right. And at that time when I was running, I wanted to scream as well because it was after 2 years I went to a park. Wow. I wanted to scream and I wanted to cry. And the other day, after that day, I told my father that is it okay if I go alone for a jog? And he said, yeah, sure, why not? If you want to go for it. My mother was like, why she should go alone? And she knew I wanted to go at night because it was like at 8 or 9. And my mother said, no, you should go with him. My father said, let her. Just let her.
Wow. That's amazing. So that's not something you hear.
No.
At that time, I started going for a walk alone. And I remember I used to cry while walking or jogging. And I cried a lot. For after 1 month, I realized I had no tears in my eyes anymore. Wow. I didn't want to cry. I didn't want to scream. I just wanted to jog. And my sister told me that it seems like you're losing weight. But I was just walking. Now that gave me hope. I went to my father and said I wanted to lose weight. He was one of those person who was telling me since childhood, beta weight lose kari lo, beta weight lose kari lo, just do it. I won't. I told him I won't, and he was shocked when I told him that I wanted to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, do whatever I say, and I give you guarantee that you in 1 year you'll be okay physically.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, what about mentally?
Wow.
He said, it will take time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Now, at that time, I started following my father told me I would go to the park in the morning. I never knew that nature can help you heal. I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
I hated sky. I hated light because I had stayed in my house for 2 years. I used to get irritated by sunlight, but then I started enjoying it. I would go to park in the morning. I would go to the park in the night, and I would, I started loving it.
Right.
I thought I realized that it wasn't just fat I was burning. It was my aggression, my pain, my insecurities I was burning.
Right.
That's amazing.
And I didn't meet anyone for 1 year. And I had a cousin who was one of, a person who would bully you since childhood. And one day I was at my grandparents. He just came and he was like, "Ye kaun hai?" Who's this? I had lost 60 kgs in 1 year.
Wow.
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 And coming from a person who had bullied you all your life, I thought I had achieved something.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, and because I had heard this all my life, moti, that when I was 60 kgs, my parents would tell me, don't lose more weight, you look skinny, don't do that, you're hurting yourself physically now, you may get weak. I thought they were joking because I had all those things in my mind which I used to hate since childhood.
Right.
Even I thought they were joking. So what changed my mind was like one day I was going for a walk and auntie came and told me, "Beta, why do you walk a lot? I see you every day." And I told her that maybe because I need to lose weight. She said, "No, you need to gain weight."
Oh my
What?
God. You can't win with the aunties.
Oh my
You just
God.
cannot.
Yeah. And at that time I knew that I'm okay now physically.
Right.
I don't need to, lose more weight. And when my cousin said, "Who is this?" and he was surprised and shocked, and he said, "I can't believe my eyes. This is Aimen."
Oh my
So
gosh.
that, and obviously my sister telling me, "You are unbelievable. You changed a lot." Because I used to work out 2 hours a day, and I would not eat anything, junk or anything like that, which I used to love. I, stopped eating everything.
Right.
So when I lost weight, a confidence came in me.
Right.
Interesting.
That now people can't bully me physically.
Wow.
I knew that.
Wow.
That's another thing that I didn't know, that now they will come and tell me you look skinny and you
Yeah,
have a clear
right.
skin and what's wrong
Gain
with you.
weight,
I didn't
please.
know that. That was another episode, but I knew that I had this confidence that no one can call me moti now.
Right.
I knew that.
Which is fat.
So
Yeah.
and but to be honest, when now people know that I lost 60 kg, there are a lot of people that come and take help from me, and I can never tell them that they say na that I'm so fat, and I say I don't agree that you're fat. I can never call someone fat. I just can't.
Yeah, you just.
It's so it brings my memories back.
Right.
What I went through.
Right.
I can't call someone's kid. I was 4 years old when people used to tell my mom that she is fat.
Right.
I can't do that. So that's another thing what I had to face, and I came to know that now is the time when last year I had my nikah, and 2 days before my nikah, someone told me, your skin is so pale and dark, and I was like, I don't care. I literally
Oh
don't
my
care.
God.
See,
Oh my
I
God.
can't take this. I can't take this anymore because it's the one thing, Kinza, if being fat, it causes a lot of diseases, because I was fat too. 115 kg is something very huge. It can cause you different problems, and I used to have pain in my heart, and my doctor used to recommend me to lose weight. And if I didn't have that, I maybe wouldn't have gone, for this as well, because I was fed up what people are saying, because it was 15, 16 years people calling you fat, and you're like, okay, I'm fat, now what?
Wow.
So when I lost weight, I had a confidence that now no one can call me fat. So I went to my father after. Then again, my father, I tell him that you are my guru. I literally come to you for, even now, if I have a problem with my husband, I will just go to my father
Right.
and tell him this. Now tell me what I have to do. I
So
can't go to
true.
my
It's
mother,
true.
even though she says I'm your best friend. I'm saying, yeah, you are, but Baba to Baba hai na.
Right.
Unko batana hai.
It's true.
So
Which
I
is like, my
went
dad
to
is
him.
my dad, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have to go to him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Agreed.
it as I said, it's a very beautiful feeling knowing that your father stands by your side.
Yeah.
Right.
So I told my father that now I have lost weight. So what do you think? Should I study?
Wow.
He said, now that was the point he realized why I left studies.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
He knew that he was bullied. He told
Yeah.
me, he told me one thing. He said, I don't want to ask you anything. It might hurt you talking about that. But
Mhm.
was this all about weight? And I said, maybe.
Wow.
So he told me that, okay, so do you want to go to, which school do you want to go? Now, there was fear in my mind. Even though I had lost weight, I didn't want to face people. I don't wanted to go to any institute. I hated. I told him I want to study private. I can't do that. I have failed in ninth O level, because when you're not mentally okay, how can you study? How can
Right.
you
Mhm.
do anything at all? I was called dumb. My teachers used to call my mother and tell her that she's such a dumb student. I don't know what she will do in her life. And that was so painful to, there was some teachers who would, give me hope as well. I still remember, I would like to name her Miss Sadaf. She was Urdu teacher in class 6. She was one of the most humblest person ever.
Aw.
Mhm.
I failed her in her exam, and she told me in my van. I was crying because I thought, who would fail in Urdu, and I failed in Urdu, so I'm dumb. So she told me, it's okay,
Wow.
it's totally okay.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So
yeah.
there were teachers who were telling my mother, calling her and telling her that she's such a dumb person, just take her out of school, she's not
Oh my
going to
God.
do anything, and things like that. And to some extent, I believe maybe I was dumb. So I went to when I told my father I wanted to study, and I told him I don't want to go to any institute. It
Mhm.
haunts me.
Mhm.
People haunt me. I don't know what they will think. Maybe I will fail my exam again.
Right.
So he told me that, okay, you go for your matriculation exams privately. I won't tell anyone, you don't tell anyone. If you fail, we don't tell anyone. If you pass, we tell the world.
Oh.
I said, I literally have that page even right now after 7 years. I have, one day before my exam, I have, written it again and again. I'll fail, because I thought I was a dumb person.
Mhm.
Wow.
So my father and me secretly would go give exam and come back.
Wow.
And when my result come, and when it came and I secured 83%,
Whoa.
I was shocked. I didn't study
Wow.
from anyone. I didn't go to any academy, any teacher, any institute. I was shocked. And my father was, he said, I knew it.
Oh my
Said, I knew you could do it.
god.
Oh my god, that's so sweet.
And that was a time when I went out to every family member and told them, yes, I did it and I got an A star. I scored 83%.
And you did it all on your own.
Just studied on your own. Everything.
Yeah, I couldn't. My father asked me, do you want to go to academy? I said, it's an institution. I hate institutions. I can't. I don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
It haunts me.
You have defied every single stereotype.
Yeah. And you
Literally.
gave a full circle, like you just said.
You gave a full circle to your dad. I mean, Aimen, I'm like, literally, we're sitting here.
I'm speechless. We're speechless. Wow.
Thank you, Kinza.
We are gonna have to do like 1,000 more episodes with you. I mean, like, you have so many like different stories.
Thank you, Nile. This really means a lot. You know,
Wow.
when you acknowledge someone's struggle, it really means a lot.
Yeah, and you're doing that for your siblings, you know, as well. Like you said, you helped your brother and to make sure
Yeah,
that
because I personally don't feel like it's something bad to tell someone you need to go to a psychologist. It's not humiliating. It's helping. People think that it's humiliating or it's something so dumb. Let me share one thing. So my husband, he was my class fellow in LGS, and he hated me. I don't know why, because I wasn't cool.
Another full circle.
Another full circle, another episode, promise us.
That's a T right there.
So he recently he had some problems at his office, and he was sharing things, and I told him, Rizzi, I might not be able to understand you because I haven't been through this. You need to go to somewhere and talk about it, maybe.
Amazing.
It's fine if you
Literally.
do. And he told me, maybe I'm such a dumb person, and all I could do was I just sent him some cupcakes with a note that it's okay to not to be okay, just go.
Oh my god, Aimen.
That's amazing.
I feel like I tell my last year my mother lost her youngest sister and she went into depression, and people literally tortured her, and I was the one who stood by her and told my mother, you are going through depression, please can you go to psychologist. I begged her. She went to the doctor.
Wow.
Alhamdulillah, she's all better now.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I think we all at some stage of life need a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and it's totally fine.
yes, it is.
Aimen, I think you have hit on something so important. I am in therapy right now. I will share my story one day, but like, you know, when I check myself and I say I feel miserable and I'm gonna make life for other people miserable, I'm gonna check myself into therapy.
Right.
You know,
it is what it is.
It is like, you know, this is how it has to be.
Right.
You can't tell someone, if for instance I'm having a fever, you can't tell me that it's going to be okay. No, it's not going to be okay till you go to the doctor and take your medicine. You are never going to be okay.
So true. I mean,
I think it's pathetic to tell someone as I said, everyone at some stage of their life needs help, or a psychologist or a psychiatrist, as we all need doctors in our lives, and it's totally fine. We are so dumb. We can literally, if in our culture, if a person knows that the other person is going to a psychologist, we get pagal hai.
right.
He's crazy,
Bad,
or
right.
she's
Bad.
crazy.
Maybe he's, we make fun of that person.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
pathetic.
You start making jokes. Yeah.
Or you're
Yeah,
weak.
and-
Or you're weak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even now, sometimes we all feel low in our lives. We all need help. We are all not every time okay.
Right.
And that's okay.
Agreed.
So people will, if they don't understand it, they even, what I was telling my sister the other day, that people who tell you that mental health is nothing, they themselves are going through it and they don't understand it.
Right. Which is the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the fact that you convinced your mom to go and you told her that, hey, like, this help exists out there, and she actually went, that's amazing. And now she's better. That's amazing.
And because what, people think that a working person is so busy, how can he or she can get depressed or anything like that. I knew she lost her youngest sister. I knew she had pain. I knew she was sad and depressed. And she would literally get panic attacks, and she would tell me, no, it's constipation. And I would tell her, stop.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Right.
I would argue. I would literally scream at her, please go.
Right.
Just go. You need to go. And then again, my father took her. Yes, she's right. You need to go to a psychologist.
Wow.
Amazing.
I'm sitting here and you won't believe it. You won't believe it, but we're like 61 minutes past. I mean, can you believe? And we haven't. I think that
I have a list of future episodes, and there's like 6 things here, so you're gonna be with us for a while in the future. But oh my God, like we said, you have come to so many full circles. It's amazing how, like, for you, like, one thing led to another, and then it led to back to like the problem that you had, but you solved it.
You solved it, and you're solving it. And I think that the one thing I learned from you today, Aimen, is that you're single-handedly sitting in a culture and changing and touching other people's lives.
Yeah.
Through what you did.
So many different problems, so many different issues, and you're talking about all of them. It's so amazing. Yeah. Like, it's amazing what one single person can do when they put their mind to it.
Yes.
Crazy. I can't even like think of the words right now.
I know. I mean, and also we want to thank you for saying something, for putting yourself out there. This is like such a big like F you to like everybody that ever said anything to you. And so like
I think this is what we all need to do.
Right.
Give a shit to people.
Yeah.
Right.
To people who are not important.
Right.
Yeah.
To recently I was talking to my mom, and she said I got a Dean's Award at university, and I was so happy with that. And told my mom that on my convocation I literally want to say that this goes out to my teachers who said I couldn't do it.
Wow.
And you should, as you should. You should. I mean, you have to.
They literally made me believe that I was the dumbest person on the planet who can't do anything at all.
And you believed it.
You had no choice.
Because, as a kid, you believe everything.
You're vulnerable. It makes sense. Yeah. But
you're amazing, Aimen.
Yeah. And I cannot wait to have so many more conversations with you.
Seriously.
It's going to be awesome.
Thank you, Manahal. Thank you, Kendra. That's very humble of you. Seriously, that's very, very humble of you.
It's you're the catalyst. You're the person that you ignited the fire. One thing that we talk about over here, and one thing that made us even create this podcast, was every other culture is either talking about it, working towards it, embracing it. Unfortunately, we as South Asians are just starting. Just starting.
Like 1%.
And like listening to you right now, there are so many. I learned so much from you. I did not know that taking a gap year could mean boy problems for people.
I know, that was something so new to me. I mean, what?
At that time, it was new for me as well.
That's so funny. Oh man.
Like, it was like, obviously when my sister told me, because she was a kid, she was in 6th class, and she would get hurt, like people are talking shit about my sister.
Right.
People come and tell me, and I was like shocked and surprised, but now I laugh, and I don't know what to say.
We are so glad that you were our first Pakistani-based guest on this
Seriously.
podcast. I mean, we couldn't have asked for anybody better.
Absolutely. And we have
Thank
people
you.
lined up from like, the UK, Canada, of course, the US and stuff like that. But dude, this means the world to us. So thank you so much.
And
You're most welcome. Thanks to you guys for having me. To be honest, that this when you approached and when you acknowledged, that meant a lot to me. A lot to me.
Thank you. And guys, our listeners, she's gonna be here for so many more episodes, so please stay tuned.
Yeah.
And on that note,
and Aimen, this is something that we say together, as you might have heard on the ending of our, other episodes. But exactly about that, what we shouldn't do. So, Manah, lead us.
So have a great week, guys, and don't worry about
Log kya
kahenge.
Aimen, thank you so much. Peace.
You're most welcome. Thanks to you guys. Take care.